welcome to another episode of Stages, the practical way to do life on life discipling. I'm Paul Johnson, the designer of Stages. It's made to help you do life on life with another individual, to become a disciple maker. You know, you can find Stages on the web. It's disciplemakingstages.com. It's also an app, Disciple Maker Stages. I'd encourage you to go to one of them because we're going to refer to an article, a training article in that. We'll be talking about the third stage, curious, believer, disciple, and then disciple maker. And I put this phrase on because I'm referring to a quote by Dallas Willard. He says, disciples of Jesus are those who are with him, learning to be like him. So very simply, a disciple is someone who hangs around Jesus and says, I want to live the way Jesus lived, which leads us to the great question, how did Jesus live? That's our study, and you'll find this if you go to the web, go to Disciple Stage, and then go to more growth areas. You'll find the Jesus lifestyle, I think Jesus lifestyle, and open that up because we're going to walk through that very quickly. I really encourage you to concentrate on this lesson. It might be as important as anything in this 250 training articles that are in Stages, because this is the way you're going to live, and I'm going to live for the rest of our lives. We're going to live the Jesus lifestyle. Here's another quote by Dallas Willard that is very provocative to me. He says, our most serious failure today, he's talking to churches, talking to Christian leaders, is the inability to provide effective, practical guidance. The inability to provide effective, practical guidance as to how to live the life of Jesus. Did anybody teach you how to live the life of Jesus? Or did you just have to pick it up by osmosis? Well, in Stages, you get to help those you're working with. Think about what is the Jesus lifestyle and how can I live that? Let's look together at that and ask the question, how did Jesus live? You know, if you're working with someone and going through the article, right here you'd say, complete this sentence. My purpose in life is blank. My purpose in life is what? And I'd encourage you, stop the video right now and write something in there. It can just be a few words. My purpose in life is. My purpose in life is, what did you write? You know, my purpose in life is to know God and enjoy him and do what pleases him. That's how I want to live. And I get that because Jesus in John 8:29 stated his purpose. I always do what pleases him, the Father. I always do what pleases the Father. So that's the Jesus lifestyle. Pretty easy, right? Pretty easy to say, pretty amazingly hard to live. But let's unwrap that by getting into a story and a confrontation Jesus had and how to help people live the Jesus lifestyle. Story is in John 5. Jesus heals a man, and he's been handicapped many, many years. And then it has that interesting phrase, Jesus did it on the Sabbath. Did he make a mistake? No, he did that deliberately because it leads to a confrontation with the religious leaders who are very annoyed at him because he actually did some work on a Sabbath and he shouldn't have. So you can see this as a frontal confrontation Jesus has with religion. And he's going to show the difference between religion and his lifestyle, which is radically different. You know, if you check the training article, there's 5 Ds that describe religion, how to get D in life. But we're not going to deal with that. I want to talk about how to get A's in the Christian life. And I have 5 of them. Be God aware, and then admit you can't do this on your own. Ask God what he's doing. Adjust your life to cooperate with him, and then anticipate. He's going to lead you into stories where God's at work and you'll get to work with him. So that's what we want to unwrap very quickly. And you can read the article and ponder it, practice it, but then you get to lead others through it and help them understand this. Aware. Let's start with this. You get sensitized to things that you're interested in. If you want to buy a house, all of a sudden, what do you see? Real estate signs. You want to learn how to draw. So now you start seeing shadows and perspectives. I bought a Mazda 5 some years ago. I'd never seen a Mazda 5 before. I don't think so. But all of a sudden I see Mazda 5s all over. Why? Because we just become aware of certain things. Could you train yourself to be God aware? Jesus was God aware. My Father is always working up till now, and I work. So the first of these 5 A's is very challenging, but I believe God can help us do that. Become God aware, what God is doing around us. Maybe you just simply ask him that. Lord, what are you doing here? We're going to get to that in a moment. Admit. Jesus said, I can do nothing on my own initiative. I can do nothing. No, he's God. He can do anything and everything, and he created the universe. But when he humbled himself, as it says in Philippians 2, and stripped himself of all privilege as a God and became like us, he humbled himself, and we have to humble ourselves. I can't do this on my own. Maybe you have a seminary degree. Maybe you wrote the book. But when you come here, you have to admit, God, I can't live this lifestyle with my own intellect and experience. And as Jesus said in John 15:5, without me, what? You can do lots of things, but they won't be really effective. No, without me, you can do nothing. And that's very humbling for us. Well, that's the second. First, become God aware, and then admit, I can't live this lifestyle on my own. But don't stay there. Ask what I see the Father doing. Jesus said, I do likewise. So ask, Father, what are you doing? Get into an interactive conversation with God. God, can I praise you right now? God, what should I be thankful for? Can I learn from somebody that I'm in the room with? Lord, do you want me to say something? Lord, is there a person working here that you're working with in this party and I should talk to them? Now you're sensitive that God is working, and now you're asking God, could I join you? Could I participate? Which leads to the next, which is you adjust your life. I think you might know the story of Zacchaeus. Jesus walking through Jericho with a crowd of people, dozens, maybe hundreds of people. But God's working in one man's life, and he's up in a tree. Everybody mocks him, laughs at him, but Jesus knows differently. That's the one the Father is working with. So what does Jesus do? He ends up having lunch in Zacchaeus' house. Did he write that in his daytimer early in the morning? Lunch at noon? Of course he didn't. He's practicing the Jesus lifestyle, and he made an adjustment in his life. This is the hardest of these 5 because it means you get out of your comfort zone. Jesus scandalized people when he did things like this. And he really got the contempt of the crowd because Zacchaeus was a tax gatherer. But Jesus didn't care. He's cooperating with God, and he adjusted what he was doing. So you might have to change your schedule. You might have to talk to some people that you wouldn't normally talk to. You have to depend on the Holy Spirit and act in faith. Step out and walk on water as Peter did. This is the hardest. And I think lots of people, when they get here, don't want to do this. And that leads to the last one. Anticipate. Jesus says, greater things than these, than the healing of this man, the Father is going to show me, and we're going to work together. It's simple to have 5 words. It's extremely hard to live those out. But I think that describes in this story, and then in Jesus' teachings, that describes how he lived. He wasn't religious. He cooperated with what he saw the Father doing, and he let God work through him in stories that transform lives. See and seize. I get that phrase from Andy Stanley, and a very interesting comment about leadership. As I listen to leaders tell their stories, I hear very little about strategic planning and goal setting. I hear a lot about identifying and acting on opportunities. Strategies and goals have their place, but they don't define leadership. Leaders see and seize opportunities. And in most cases, listen to this, Andy says this, and in most cases, the opportunities take them by surprise. Know what? They're just living the Jesus lifestyle. And if they can do it, you can do it, and I can do it, because this is how Jesus planned for us to live. Live like him. Can you say the 5 A's? Be God aware, admit, you can't do it on your own, ask God what he's doing, adjust your life, and anticipate. Live in hope. God will put you in stories. Start today. Can I say that? You say, hey, Paul, I don't understand. It's pretty well over my head. That's all right. Start today. Don't wait till you get it all figured out. I don't have it all figured out. Start today and then train somebody else to live this way as well. Well, that's Stages, the practical way to do life on life discipling. You can contact me if you want. There's my email address. You can write to me, or my cell phone number. You can text me. I'd love to hear from you. Stories, especially. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening.